look at me like that. It's just something I do sometimes.
So you've been able to work with so many different types of directors throughout your long career. What was it about her, Ishana, that made you want to sign on to do this project?
Well, Ishana is filled with so much passion and creativity, and that's very palpable the first time you speak with her. She's very thoughtful, very kind. She has a real kindness about her that I was struck by, and just such a beautiful smile and a lot of light brightness to her, but she's also a very deep thinker and had such a clear vision of the story that she wanted to tell visually and otherwise and everything. And so I was really struck by just our conversations and wanted to be a part of whatever she was going to create. It felt like, she's a real artist. I think she comes from a family of artists and creative people, and she's really finding her own way within that, and it's something I admire.
I walked out of the theater and I had to have other journalists walk me to my car.
No way! Awesome!
I was creeped out.
Okay, cool.
So I would love to know what it was about the original book that made you not only want to adapt the screenplay, but also direct this.
I think the book itself is just fantastic. It really was something that I read and was just enamored by the experience of reading it. It felt so cinematic by nature, and it felt like it was just begging for those elements to kind of be put on a screen. So it just felt like a kind of no-brainer to me. I think once I read the book, it's just a wonderful, wonderful story.
Hello? I need some help.
Where's the car?
And I was doing my research, but in how cinematic your film is.
Thank you.
I was like, this is a first-time director?
Thank you.
So can you talk to me a little bit about some of the challenges that you were able to overcome, knowing that this was going to be seen on the big screen?
Definitely. I think throughout the process for me, it was just grappling with that knowledge where I really... I love the process of filmmaking. I think it is so fun and so spiritual for me and meditative. And then doing that on a scale where I'm thinking about how it's going to be perceived or what's going to happen after, I think was quite challenging. And ultimately it was just a practice in how to be present and not think about the stakes and just create the thing I felt most inspired by. And that's kind of, I think, what the movie that exists now.
You have 5 seconds before the door is sealed. 5, 4, 3, 2. I don't mean to scare you, but we haven't much time. It's not wise to keep them waiting. They'll be very interested in someone new.
Mina is really struggling with her grief in so many different ways, and there's a heightened aspect to it, and then low aspects to it.
Yes.
I was wondering for you, how were you able to kind of connect, in those struggles that you see on screen?
Yeah, I think we all have those moments in our lives that we wish we could take back, or something that we would have done differently. Hindsight is 2020 moments. So I think everyone can kind of relate to that. And then I can also just feel, I felt like I could relate to being a person who just doesn't quite have it all figured out the way you think you're supposed to, and that you're still searching for something. And I think, again, that's a very relatable quality that Mina has, and she's isolated herself to deal with her grief. And I think really the way that we heal ourselves is to open ourselves back up and to let other people in and to kind of ask for that help and stuff. So I could relate to that. And but I don't always have to relate to a character to play them, Sometimes they're super different than you, and that's okay too.
Was there a moment where you were like, you know what, this is the avenue that I want to pursue? What was that moment? Was it a movie? Was it an experience?
It was around the time I was like 16-ish, and I had sort of experimented with many different art forms and really loved all of those processes. And I was sort of considering like what would be the next medium I would be really interested in playing with. And the answer was, I think, film. And so it was, I think I had seen like around that time the movie Mustang. And it really made me think of like the type of story that I could tell as a filmmaker. So that was really like the conception, I think, of it all. And it was just sort of an inkling of like, this could be a fun medium to play with.